coach. Before we jump into our session for today, just want to make a couple quick announcements to remind you that if you want to watch the playbacks of all the sessions of last week and prior to today, you can go and watch those at celebrate21learningsessions.splashthat.com. So we are going to be posting all of the playbacks of all the sessions, all of this learning sessions, the panels, those are going to be posted. We are not posting our speaker series. So we have a weekly featured speaker series every Wednesday. So make sure that you are dedicated to being there to participate and listening into that series. Tomorrow, we have an amazing speaker named Maurice Ashley is going to be our featured speaker for tomorrow at 3 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time. He's an international grandmaster of chess. He's going to be telling his amazing inspirational story of how he learned how to play chess in Prospect Park in Brooklyn in the 80s and how he's relating that to professional and personal development. So it's going to be an amazing inspirational speech tomorrow at 3 o'clock. So make sure not to miss that. Also want to mention that during today's session, make sure that if you have any questions or comments, please put them in the Q&A. Also, we'll be monitoring the chat as well. And I'll make sure to post any questions that are put in the Q&A to our moderator and our guest speaker today. So I want to go ahead and introduce our moderator today. We're lucky enough to have Brian Ellington, Century 21's Chief Development Officer, who is going to be going ahead and introducing our amazing subject matter expert all around online branding, your social currency. So Brian, I'm going to go ahead and hand it over to you. Thank you.
All right, thanks, Mary Beth, and thank you all for being here today. I am excited about the session, and by the emails I've been getting from a lot of you, you are too. So I am pleased to introduce our subject matter expert here, Kyle Siebert. Now, Kyle is from Century 21, the Siebert team. They're in Providence, Rhode Island, and Seekonk, Massachusetts, and Connecticut area. If you don't know Kyle, he is the #1 agent ranked by Real Trends in the Wall Street Journal on the top 1,000 list. Kyle does about 500 transactions per year just in his own agent business with a team of administrative help helping him do that. And then he also launched Century 21, the Siebert team, as a brokerage with us in July. So we were fortunate enough to get to start working with him. In the background, and I've been getting a lot of emails from a few of you today, Kyle and I have been working on a coaching program that he's actually going to be starting. So maybe at the end of this call, we'll get him to share a little bit about that coaching program, which is upcoming. But Kyle, welcome. Thanks for being with us.
Yes, sir. Thank you for having me. It's my pleasure.
All right, man. Well, so the topic today is online branding, your social currency. And you and I get to chat a lot, so I'm really familiar with your social media presence. I think they're going to get a lot out of the session because every time we talk about it, I know I do. So let's start by breaking it into two parts, right? Let's talk about organic presence, and then we can talk about paid as well. I want to start with kind of the goal. When you think about your online social media presence, what's the goal for you? Is it lead generation? Is it selling listings? Is it building your brand, or is it all the above?
So it's really a dual goal, right? So at the end of the day, building your brand is the most basic part of it, right? So when you're on social media, you're trying to get yourself out there, right? It's standing up saying, hey, look at me. I'm an agent. This is what I'm all about. That's number one, but that then transcends into actually lead generation. So it's a function of one thing leads into another, right? So the branding part is how we stay in front of people, and there's no better or easier way to stay in front of people than social media. The lead gen part, that comes with the territory, and that can take more time, but at the end of the day, you're branding for a purpose. You're branding to generate leads of buyers and sellers that are looking to obviously participate in any sort of real estate transaction. So for me, it's the cheapest, most efficient way to cast a wide net in front of folks on social media.
Okay. And just to give us sort of an idea, roughly, what would you say in terms of percent of your business that's coming from organic social media?
So I would say that organic social media is probably 5 to 10% of my business, but it's really hard because everything now kind of blends together. So when I do something on social media, I share it across all different aspects of social media, Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn. When I do something there, I also share it on my stories. When I do something there, I share it on my in my database through my emails. So there's so many different ways to, I may have, and it happens to me all the time, I may get a seller or a buyer that sees something on social media that I worked with in the past, and they're like, hey, I haven't talked to you in a while. I just saw that post and that made me think of you again. So that's something where at the end of the day, I think it's so much bigger than just trying to say the ROI is X, right? I spend $10 or organically I spend no dollars, but it's almost like a prerequisite to becoming an agent nowadays.
And that's that building your brand that you talked about. When you think about using social media to create and curate your brand, how do you do that?
Clear, concise, distinct messaging. If you follow my social media or any of the audience does, it's very focused on, it's real estate centric, right? So what I mean by that is, yes, I have two fantastic daughters, and yes, I'll sprinkle them in sometimes here and there, but you're not going to see me out there on the social scene, whatever you do or don't do in in the community, that kind of stuff. As far as like not the real estate side of me is probably not pertinent to the message I want to present. So I'm presenting myself and storytelling and making in this manifestation of who I want people to envision me as. So at the end of the day, it's really a function of what you see is what you get. But I'm here, I'm present, I'm all about this stuff, and this is how I can relate to you in real estate.
Maybe I can ask you for a specific example, because I know one of the audiences that you target are investors, right?
Mm-hmm.
So how do you use the social media channels that you use in terms of creating that brand of yourself as the investor's agent?
So we create content for specific segments of the market, right? So the content that I create, the videos that I put out, whether they're videos that have been pre-recorded or live videos or stories or whatever, I try to mix it up and make sure that I'm value adding to different segments within where my reach is. So for example, today I actually put out a content video piece which was geared towards investors, specifically talking about the cap rate, talking about the spreads in flip properties and how that spread's narrowed and how cap rates have come down, but over time investors still look at valuations different than owner occupants. So at the end of the day, I feel like you have to add value and show that you're an expert in certain parts of the business. And I think that's even more important, that, you may want to talk about investors today. Tomorrow, let's talk about first-time home buyers. The day after, let's talk about, what type of things can sellers do to get their houses prepared. There's just so many different avenues you can go down.
Yeah, and by the way, good reminder in the chat box from Kelly, who's helping us run the show today. If you have any questions, please put them in the chat box, or the Q&A box rather, and we'll try to answer those as we go along. So Kyle, back to the organic social media. What channels are you using today?
So the one that I feel like I get the most hits on recently is actually Instagram. Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn. Each one has a different audience. Instagram for me brings a much more millennial style type audience. The buyer that's looking to buy their first property, the investor that's never invested before. Facebook brings a more mature audience, that 35 to 60-year-old person who is looking to buy or sell. So we target that differently. And then LinkedIn provides me with an audience much more geared around business to business sales. So we'll get people on there that are like, hey, I own an insurance company, or I own a lending company, and I see your stuff, I see you add value, and I'd love to have you, help my clients. So you really have to cater your posts and your content towards your platform. And I think that's the part where people miss, is that it's not one size fits all, in a sense. So at the end of the day, there's different ways to market across these different platforms. And if you don't understand that or don't know that, you need to speak to an industry expert that can help reiterate that.
And you and I talked about this the other day, TikTok.
Oh, I just got TikTok. I just got added onto TikTok, and I am looking to become viral on TikTok. So we just got TikTok. I don't know it. I don't understand it. I don't know what the heck it does, but I think that a lot of people are on it, and I'm going to figure out how to use it. And again, navigate through it. I actually hired, it's funny you say that, I hired a college kid at Bentley University to run and manage my TikTok. And the reason being is he is all intertwined into this and understands how to make me look like an expert there on TikTok. I'm not going to be dancing or doing any crazy stuff like that, but we will add value.
Come on, man, just one. But you bring up an important point, right? I mean, you've obviously done very well for yourself on Facebook, Insta, and some of the other platforms that you mentioned. But don't take it for granted that you understand in this new platform and you're leveraging help in doing that. And that's a very smart way of going about it. Question for you, just so everybody has kind of a frame of reference. Can you describe how many cumulative followers do you have, like Facebook, Insta, LinkedIn? Would you guess?
I can tell you right now. Facebook, now Facebook, to me, I could do so much better on Facebook, but they only allow you 5,000 friends. I probably have another 10,000 that I can't accept. On what is this one? Instagram, I have 20,000 followers. I've done 3,632 posts. We do stories, and then I don't know, TikTok, I probably have one. I just started yesterday, so I have no idea. Maybe 2 people, maybe you and I.
Well, you've got somebody in the chat asking for your TikTok handle, so
Let
if
me
you want to
find
give it
it.
to us, we'll help
I'll
blow
find
you
it
up.
right now. Hold on. TikTok handle. I don't know how
So
you
with,
do that.
yeah, you got me, but with Facebook, so you're at 5,000. You're using that as a personal page, as a business page?
Facebook is a business page. I believe, yes, Facebook's a business page.
All right, great. So getting a question in the chat from Rocky, and a great question, Rocky. So let's talk about your kind of discipline of posting. How often are you posting? How many times a day? Let's just start with Facebook.
Facebook, we post, so we have a very strict schedule on Facebook now. So we do every day there's a piece of content that goes out, and I'm looking at my schedule right now. So Sunday we do what's called Seabith Sessions, and what that is like a minute or 2 video that's pre-recorded. I took one day, recorded like 52 videos or 100 videos or whatever, and those videos get pre-recorded and they go out once a week. On Monday, we do a motivational quote that goes out with a video I do in the morning. Tuesday, we've tried to do testimonials. Wednesday, it's like a question. I did another video where it was like in a house and we gave tidbits of information. Thursday is I have a TV show, and we do a quick intro to who the guest is on the TV show. Friday is just a favorite clip from something that happened during the week. And then Saturday is like it's Kyle Says Saturday, and it's just like a quote or me doing a quick video. So we post every day. I can say this, where I get the most engagement is either raw live video or stories. Those are the 2 things that we get the most engagement on.
Okay. You know what I like about that? There's a great book called Atomic Habits by a guy by the name of James Clear. And what he says is, if you want to make something a habit, make it easy, make it obvious, is what he says. And by kind of giving yourselves those parameters on a daily basis, that makes it to where you don't have to think necessarily about what to post on a given day, which can really be an enemy of creating posts, can't it?
The biggest enemy that you're going to have when you're working on social media, looking at social media, thinking about social media, is that you're going to be concerned that you have to be perfect. And I can tell you that if you go on my stuff and you can search my Facebook, you can search on everything, at the end of the day, perfection is not a necessity. you're going to be bad. You're going to be bad at first. And what happens is when you're really bad at something, you can only go one place. You can't be really, really bad. Well, you can, I guess you could be really, really bad. But at the end of the day, ideally, when you go from being bad, you start to get better. And I find that some of the most important things that I do and some of the stuff that's bring me the most business is I do like a minute to 2 minute video every morning. And that video is really geared towards motivating peers in my sphere, how to try to be better, how they can increase and improve productivity on their personal, professional lives. And I can't tell you how much I get from that. And it's as simple as talking about, a little quote that I have: winners win or losers, whatever that looks like, something that comes to my head, but I do it every day. Consistency is the key. You'll never have a day where, and if I don't do it, shame on me. I'm mad at myself all day. So it becomes like a habit. It becomes like a habit of, if you go to the gym every day, if you eat healthy every day, whatever that looks like, it's the similar habit.
And you keep odd hours. What time of the day are you generally creating your posts?
All day. So the first post that I do every morning when I come to my office, I get here about 6:30. It's a quick inspirational kind of quote for like 10 seconds. And it's a story. When I point the phone at my sign, the Century 21 sign with my name on it. And I just tell people one quick thing today, like, hey, you got up today, be grateful for that. And let's not worry about tomorrow. Let's focus on today. Something as simple as that. But what is that doing, right? Let's think about what that does. Number one, it gives people some inspiration. But number two, I'm subtly putting my name, my brand, that I'm in real estate in front of your face from the time you get up in the morning. So every day you're going to see, if you follow me, if you're one of the 20,000 people on Instagram that follow me, you're going to see my stuff. And it's going to, and then I'll add some, maybe some jokes or whatever during the day. I'm not like I'm a comedian, but I'll add stuff that people actually laugh at, they smile at, whatever, to keep it entertaining. So my first post is about 6:30. Again, I have a different level of tenacity, or a different level of addiction to the game, I guess you could say. I just really love what we do. I mean, I enjoy this stuff.
Yeah, and it comes across too. And by the way, if you've never seen some of Kyle's posts where he's speaking to real estate agents, man, there's some great stuff in there that will really help your business. Really good coaching. So, question for you: when we talk about the types of content, what generates the most in terms of leads for you? What generates the best responses, and what generates the most responses?
The most responses I get is when I'm in a house and I'm giving information that's valuable to the public. For example, I'm walking around a house and I'm saying, hey guys, quick question. Do you think those are laminate floors? Those are hardwood floors, pre-finished, 3/8? What do you think this is? Hey guys, electric stove or gas stove? Is this a 220 or all that sort of stuff? Like, when I add value and allow the audience or the public to kind of chime in and become engaged, I feel like that's, at the end of the day, the stuff that gives me the most. It gives me the most engagement, content, and the most actual leads from that. And I have people, and I can read you if you ever went on I mean, I have people that follow me every day, and they'll say, like, let me just look. One woman yesterday was like, I live for your stories, because she's living through me. Like, she's like, your life is so cool. I don't think it's that cool, but your life is so cool that at the end of the day, she enjoys kind of what I bring to the table. Let me read it. Here it is right here. I live for the things you find in houses. And she just started laughing. And that came off of a story that I did yesterday. I was in a house. It was about 7:30, and this woman cooked cupcakes. So I just literally I put the thing on the cupcakes, and I said, should I eat one or should I not? And I said, did it come out of this gas stove or the electric stove? And it's just silly things like that. But, I'm doing something that a lot of people wish they could. I'm not behind a desk just sitting here all day pushing paper. I'm out there in the real world, and just trying to, trying to make people's real estate dreams come true.
Yeah. Hey, we're getting some questions in Q&A. And by the way, again, keep it coming. How long have you been in business, Kyle?
I've been in business for not 10 years.
10 years. Yeah. And if you've not heard his story, it's a remarkable
So I've been in
one.
business, so 10 years. So really quick to put this in perspective, 10 years in business. First year I did 7 transactions. Great, fine, whatever. Last year, 2020, I probably did over 500 again. The year before that, did 527 or 517. And just to be fully transparent, those are all mine. What I mean by that is I don't have a buyer's agent. I don't have a listing agent. Every single client that closes is one of my clients. Every single one of those people are people that I show houses to, I bring by, I meet with the seller. So like all that stuff is important to understand, that I'm not skewing my numbers by hiring all buyer's agent. What I'm doing is I'm leveraging myself, and we could talk, obviously that's a whole different story, but leveraging the tasks that aren't integral to my position.
Sorry. You have a pretty good administrative staff that deal with all the stuff that you don't need to be dealing with, which I think is why you're able to do so much production, that you're able to focus on the things that bring in more business.
That's correct.
Getting some questions in the chat. So somebody asked, how many tribes are you targeting? Investors, first-time buyers, sellers, that kind of stuff.
I don't know what tribes mean. What do you mean by tribes?
I think they mean buckets. Like who all are you targeting?
Unlimited. I want all of them. Every single one of them that exists. You think I'm kidding? You know I'm not kidding. I will take any. I have so just a funny story. So my staff on the Monday meeting, right? So we meet every Monday to go over everything. And one of the transaction coordinators goes, "Hey, you're really killing it in the mobile home park." And I'm like, and hey, look, I have nothing against mobile homes and people that live in them, but I've just rattled off 7 mobile homes in the last month. So I'm on fire in that park, and I'm gonna go back there and we're gonna door knock every mobile home in the park, because I get more buyers from that. And I'll tell you why. People that don't know, they see the price, they think it's a great starter home. Obviously, the financing is so much different to buy a mobile home than a regular house. I then swing that person to a buyer of a regular house, and they go ahead and become buyer. I've done 3 in the last 2 weeks that were mobile home lookers, became $250,000 buyers. And that may not be a lot to some folks, but for me, I'll take a $250 buyer all day long.
Check your preconceived notions. I completely agree. I think most agents would take 3 of those clients too.
Right.
So getting a couple of questions, interesting ones, maybe a little bit of head trash too. When you're doing videos in folks' houses, one of the questions was how do the clients, what do they think? How do they react when you're shooting a video while showing them houses?
Yeah, I mean, so it's not, I'm not standing there like I'm running a production crew. Let's say that, for example, I'm showing the property and there's a group of buyers coming in. I'm going to kind of skate off to the side a little bit and just it's literally a 5-second clip. A matter of fact, while we've been doing this, I just did one. And I just did one of you and I on here. And, that'll just, again, it's just seeing that I'm involved in real estate. So it's not a function of, when you do the in-depth videos, those can be at a vacant property, those can be at a construction site, those can be at your own office. But when you're doing quick snippets, hey, the client's not there yet, get a quick video of the outside. Hey guys, just want to let you know this is vinyl siding. We've got replacement windows, architectural shingles on the roof, whatever that looks like. Again, instead of sitting in your car and eating whatever, drinking water, having a lollipop, going down the street to go read a book, I'm there. Hey, look at the location I'm at now. Here's what do you think the value of the houses are in this location? I'm using every minute to add some sort of value in real estate.
Awesome. Josh asked, how many admins do you have?
3 transaction coordinators, 1 scheduler, 3 other admins, so 6, 7, and then about 8 admins on my side, and then on the brokerage side we've got a couple others, so 8.
Okay, and you have some runners as well?
I have 3 runners. What a runner is smoke certificates, water meter readings, final walkthroughs, all that sort of stuff.
Yeah. In the coaching program that you created for us, you talk a lot about how to leverage talent in your office before you ever even hire somebody. So I think it's important too for everybody to understand that you were leveraging other talent before you ever hired somebody into your business too.
I've been leveraging talent since day one, and I look at it as a win-win. Number one, I win because I can take that time and utilize it for something else in the business field. But number two, that person that's getting leveraged as a piece of as someone to help in the puzzle, they're learning. So like you're not hurting them. You're putting money in their pocket and they're learning the business. So actually one of my newer agents in the brokerage learned and was my runner for a while, and kind of from there turned into an agent who's doing about 30 transactions, on pace for 30 to 40 this year. So definitely an opportunity for a runner to transform into something bigger just by learning and being around it. And guess what he did? He did a lot of social media. Every time he went to a house, he took a video, and he just basically mirrored and copycatted what we did.
That's great. So we've been talking about leads, but we talk a little bit about what a good lead looks like from social media. Are you sending them to your DM? Are you sending them to a website? Like, what does a good lead look like from social media for you?
A good lead for me is a comment or engagement in something that I've posted that then turns into a DM, and then from there gets added to the database, and or a direct message from someone that's just reached out. Those are like the golden leads, right? The DMs where they actually reach out. Outside of that, everything else again is going to be database driven, something that you're going to follow up on. But those good solid leads are messages, and then from the message, for me to make sure it's a real lead, I'll provide my phone number and say, hey, just shoot me a quick text, and those will come up. Now, again, Facebook is branding. You have to think of it a lot. Facebook, Instagram, you have to really think of it as branding yourself as an industry expert. And what I mean by that is it's the best way to have a billboard without paying for a billboard, right? At the end of the day, you won't get this engagement, not on radio, not on TV, for the cost that you're going to do on Facebook. The cost per reach is so minimal that it's silly not to take advantage of it.
I see a mutual friend of ours, Johnny Knight, in the chat saying that you're dropping gems. And it kind of brings to mind, because I had a great conversation with him as part of the Giving 121% interview I did with him. And he talked about using social media as kind of his database. And, what's funny is for 2 decades, I've been preaching and coaching and training agents to leverage a database that they stay in constant contact with. There's that old familiar stat from NAR that 80+% of buyers and sellers would use the same agent again in their next transaction, but only something like 14 to 70% do use their agent. And the biggest challenge is that agents lose touch over time. And it occurs to me that you're really using social media to be that sort of constant, ongoing, consistent, I'm here, I'm in real estate, touch to your database.
So this is why I think real estate has changed and transcended so much. Conventional teaching methods, conventional coaching courses, conventional methods surrounding real estate have changed with the times. And if we don't change with the times, we will be left behind. So yes, database management is important, but what better way to have a database than to have the folks on your social media? That's the most easy database and sphere that you could ever hit. And I know for a fact there's no better way or easier way to stay in front of people than to utilize that to your advantage. Now, a lot of people are going to complain that 2021 has been a year where it's going to be really difficult, right? So my outlook for the rest of the year is going to be a really tough year. People are going to say, well, real estate's booming. Why do you say that? Well, that's not true. Real estate's booming in the sense that properties are selling for values that we haven't seen in a long time, but that doesn't mean the volume's there. The volume and transaction count and sides, where I am anyways, is down. So we have to try to make a way. We have to use this year to really continue to brand, so that when we, at the end of the day, when we get to the point where the volume comes back and the transactions come back, we've stayed top of mind. So there's no better time than this year than to stay top of mind on folks that are out there following Instagram and Facebook and LinkedIn. And I'm feeling it on my end that my volume, right? So my numbers, my sides are down a little bit, just for the sheer fact that there's not enough listings, right? So if you pay for any sort of lead gen stuff, you're going to see those numbers be off a little bit, because everything's pending and there's not enough listings and inventories at such a shortage. So you really need to take advantage now, while you can get in front of people and continue to cast such a wide net. I do billboard, I do radio, I do TV, and I do social media. Social media is the best out of all of them.
Just like with the database, the goal is to continually add to the reach of people that you're actually getting in front of. So organically speaking, when it comes to followers, any tips on how to add followers across any of the various platforms, Facebook, Instagram?
Facebook's easy. Facebook gives you an easy opportunity to add people you may know. Go right down the list and just say yes to all of them. Just keep clicking till you get to 5,000. Boom, all the way down to have one of your admins or whoever. Just go right down the list. People you can't be scared in this game. You can't worry, well, I don't know that person. Who cares? Who cares? It doesn't matter. Get 5,000 and then on to the next. Instagram, honestly, there's ways you can pay for followers if you want. There's ways that you can follow people to get them to follow you back. The entire point, you want eyeballs. However you can get the most amount of eyeballs for the least amount of money works. Now, again, Facebook's the easiest one. LinkedIn, I don't manage my LinkedIn. I think they provide the same thing as Facebook, where you can find people you may know or connections or whatever. You just keep going, yes, 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 all the way down the list. And to me, that's how you get the eyeballs. You're not going to know 5,000 people intimately, but you'll know 5,000 people that you may know, someone that may know them and may know that. You know what I mean? Like, that's the big piece at the end of the day. That's a key component.
Yeah, if you're afraid of clicking that button for the people that you may not know, don't worry. Zillow will sell you that same lead for 35%.
Correct.
Any other advice on building your organic presence before we switch over to paid?
Yeah, I mean, organically, raw is better. People want to see people that are relatable. And what I mean by that is the perfect person doesn't relate to everyone. The person who speaks and sometimes has a stutter with a word, or misses a word, or misspeaks, or kind of is there's doing a video and the phone drops or something. Like anytime you can do anything that shows that you're real and you're relatable, you have a good opportunity to get more eyeballs. So organically, I would say don't focus so much on getting the perfect pitch or the perfect video. Focus on getting something. And organic business, again, stories on Instagram and Facebook, I can't tell you enough how important that is. And there's a way on both Facebook and Instagram where you can post on one and it just streamlines through everything. So what I post on one via one of the apps that we have, it just posts across all mediums.
Okay, that was the answer to Haley's question there. Great. All right, let's talk about paid for a second. So first off, what type of paid advertising are you doing on social media?
Let me look and see what we do on paid, because I have someone that handles this for me. So just want to make sure I get you the right stuff. So paid ads, we have commercials that we pay to boost. So we do a lot of boosting. The commercial, right? So we filmed a 30-second and a minute commercial. That commercial gets utilized in a fashion that we boost it out to as much people as we can. And typically we'll do $500 to $1,000 in a boost, and that'll reach 5,000, 10,000, however many people. The other thing we'll boost giveaways. We'll boost different programs that we have for, if you're a first-time buyer, we'll help you pay for half your home inspection. We're boosting anything there that's a call to action. So we're boosting call to action items. We're not boosting things that are more of soft value add content providing.
And when you do these kinds of boosts, where are you directing them? Are you sending them to your website, or what's the capture mechanism?
So the capture mechanism is on Facebook. You can have a little button that basically says click to message. So there's some sort of messenger embedded already in the post. And it's that embedded message that's bringing them through to the Facebook Messenger versus bringing them from Messenger to a website, so on. We're bringing you directly from Facebook into the Messenger.
Okay, great. And you mentioned that commercial that you shot. What's the general content there for that one in particular?
So the commercial that we shot is actually very unique. It's my voiceover. And anyone that wants to go on my Facebook, you can find it. It's my voiceover with a lot of B-roll of me with buyers, me with sellers, me in the field, out there showing the ability to relate to my clients, out there showing how I'm in the weeds, whether it's a $600,000 house, $1 million house, or a $50,000 trailer. I'm out there with you, performing at a level that's extremely high, superb customer service, and just continuing to work day in and day out.
Okay. And when you shoot something like that and you go to boost it, who are you trying to target? What's the custom audience or the target audience that you're using?
So we're boosting based on socioeconomic age demographics. I'm boosting for people that I work well with. I don't work well with a certain age group. Why? I just don't have the patience and tolerance for certain, I need to have someone that's tech savvy enough to understand how to operate contracts online, signatures, electronic signatures, everything, being able to text message. I can't operate with someone who doesn't have a computer, who can't, or has a computer but can't sign electronically, doesn't text message. So we're going after a demographic that I know that I can convert, and that's that 30 or 25 to 50-year-old kind of reach. And also you used to be able to do it by income level, but when we boost it, we're looking at those different criteria and we're making sure we focus on that. And then geography, kind of where I obviously operate.
Okay. And same question is with organic, with your paid social media ads. What percentage of your business would you guess that makes up?
Probably another 5.
5%. And how much of your annual budget would you say you spend on those boosts?
I probably spend boosting anywhere from 6,000 to 12,000 a year.
And does that vary throughout the year?
It does. If I have a really good month, I'll blast out one for $1,000. If it's like an okay month, but if I crushed it that month, then I'll put more ad money out there just to get my name out there. Or if I feel like we're coming up on the spring, so it's seasonal. It's function of, how the month went. It's a function of revenue coming in, all those certain things.
And just to clarify, when you say if I had a great month and I was crushing it, I'm going to spend more, is that because you have more listings to promote, or is that because you've got more money to invest back in your business, or is that both?
So 2 things. One, it's to avoid the tax man. I'd rather spend my money on myself and the business. And then 2, I have more disposable income that month, so may as well put that to work. Again, if I can invest $1 and make 3, I'll do that all day long. So if it's more listings, not really. It's just really going to be a function of disposable plus tax strategy, if you will.
Okay. And do you notice any given content gets better results from boosting?
I think boosting, you get better results on short, concise, either video or very specific messaging that gives the audience something in return. So the best ones that I've gotten, hey, $25 referral friend gift card. Hey, purchase a house through us as a veteran, we'll give you, you don't have to pay an inspection. Hey, buy a house through us. Like, for example, I'll actually show you, we have one like this. You can kind of see the postcard, but we did this on social media as well. And it's just a quick, I mean, I put this thing up all the time. It's $100 bonus for refer a friend. And it's just something quick and easy that we put out there. But it's something that helps to add value to the overall audience.
Okay. And we're getting a question in the chat about, expectation for you at least of how many leads you're going to get off of any given boost. They're trying to kind of get to $1 per lead translation.
So we're anywhere from $10 to $15 per lead. We did a really good job. So in Rhode Island, we have a first-time home buyer program. The ones I get the most leads from are probably that program. What that program looks like is it's, hey, want to buy a property for little to no money down. And it's a quick, fill out this questionnaire, fill out this survey. Here's the information. We make that survey a little more detailed than just name, number, and email. It's name, number, salary range. Are you looking to buy in the next few months? Do you have an agent? All these different questions. Those have been gangbusters. And boosting that, $600 a month to $1,000 a month, that has gotten me a ton of leads, and those leads have translated into business. That's what I'm talking about with the call to action. The call to action is, hey, look, you want this first time home buyer program, sign up now. Or, hey, look, we offer all off-market properties or all properties under 400K in your location. Fill out this, sign up now. And that's at the end of the day what we find has been very helpful and really brought a lot of leads in that, $10 to $15 per lead, which is very reasonable.
Okay, cool. If you were getting started on social media, this is not something that you're familiar with. What advice would you have about how to go about building an effective platform that helps you build your business?
So start from scratch and write your own script to the movie that you want to play. Who are you? What do you want to be? And what do you want the public to see you as? You follow? So brainstorm that. Understand what type of agent you want people to view you as. Do you want them to view you as a sophisticated agent that just does high end? Well, then you need to present yourself in a manner that provides value and content for high end buyers and sellers, right? But whatever that looks like, mixed messaging and not consistent messaging and stuff that doesn't jive with your profession, like stop all that. You need to start to get a really, really clear message on who you are, what you want to be, and allow it to become a self-fulfilling prophecy where you actually live up to what that image is that you want to portray. So start with, I think it's easiest, start with still shots and quotations or captions, right? So pictures of houses or pictures of closings or pictures of pendings or buyers or whatever, and then work your way to video. Don't just start spouting out videos where you have never, you know what I mean? Don't just start that. Try to build a foundation first. Hey, this is Kyle with Century 21 here, the SEBA team. We're just going to put a picture of the office with the quote and my picture in the corner, or just listed, or just start posting houses that are in your location that just went on the market. There's a million different ways, but at the end of the day, if you're not posting something relative to real estate, just stop, because you're not going to help your cause.
So Lillian is asking, can you share a little bit more about your first-time buyer program? Can you kind of give us an overview of what that looks like?
Yeah, let me pull up the hold on one second.
And while he's doing that, gang, if you have other questions, please put them in the chat, and we'll try to get to as many as we can here.
Danielle. First, hold on one. Sorry, I'm thirsty.
You're making me thirsty now.
Sorry. Let me find this though, because these are good. All right, here we go. So it's called Rhode Island Housing Landing Page, and it's a picture of a family or a husband, wife, or boyfriend, girlfriend, or girlfriend, girlfriend, boyfriend, whatever that looks like in your geographic location, whatever is the best fit. And it just says, would you like to purchase a property for little or no money down? Click here to find out how. And then what we have you do is you type in the zip code, the type of home you're looking for. Is this your first time you've purchased a home? What's your credit score, your property purchase situations, and we give you drop downs. Property will be used for what? Estimated purchase price of the property, estimated down payment, gross annual income, file bankruptcy in the last 3 years, proof of income. Are you working with a real estate agent? Name, email, and phone number. The bottle, what a bottle. At the end of the day, why do we do all that? Because that's going to, first of all, that makes sure that they are not just bogus, right? So someone that's going to take time to fill all that out and fill in all those different drop downs, for the most part, there's a better chance that they're not going to be bogus, right? Whereas if we just have you put your name, email, and phone number, there's a good chance that you might just put in, 1-800-GO-pound-sand. I mean, I don't know. So that's what it looks like. And those are the criteria that come over. And then from there, once they fill that out, it automates a message to my CRM, and then we automate back to them.
And so they're going into some sort of first-time home buyer drip from there.
They go into the
Anything-
CRM and it's automated. It's basically, hey, so this woman's name is Angela. Hey, Angela, this is Kyle with Century 21. Thank you so much for reaching out. Let us know a good time to chat. And that's it. And then once they engage in that with any sort of time, that means that they've now went from the top of the funnel down the funnel. And now it's time for me to get engaged.
Got it. And, you bring up a really interesting point, which is you can spend a lot of time, a lot of money generating these leads. Do you find that that the leads you get are, come list me, come help me buy, or are they incubation necessary leads that are going to take you a little bit longer to work?
They're going to be a mix. So you're going to have some people that lied their butt off and said all different things in there that aren't true, right? So those are going to be more of a nurture. And then you're going to have some people that are really honestly interested in getting the process started. So you're going to get, let's say we get 50 to 100 leads a month. If 2 or 3 of those come out to be actual viable buyers or sellers, then that's a win, right? So that for that 50 or 100 leads, let's say it's 100 leads at $10 a lead, that's $1,000. But if I get 3 to 5 people, that's a huge return.
And is there anything in your conversion process that you feel is helping you up those conversion percentages?
Instant engagement when they follow up. Once that message is sent, there's an instantaneous text message sent to that buyer. That doesn't leave any that doesn't leave any room for error. That text message goes right from the buyer. It's automated, comes right from me. If they respond to that, then I start to engage. And that's the part where a lot of us miss. And it happens to me all the time. Lead comes in, I get super busy. I don't have time to call the lead back. And then the lead's already found someone else. This cuts that whole thing out the window.
And what's that initial text message sound like?
So the text to them, basically what we said is this Kyle with Century 21. Thanks for filling out the questionnaire. Let us know a good time to talk.
Okay.
Let me see if I have the second one, because we also have that on. We have that. Let me see. So we have a CRM that's just set up for that. And our agents are on it. So our lead flow just from social media from September to now, from actually October to now, is 5,000.
Wow.
So it's
Now,
a
is
big
that
number.
organic and paid combined?
There's both.
Yeah.
More paid though.
Yeah.
More
So
paid.
5,000 And so, yeah, you've got to have some sort of incubation process in place for that kind of volume.
All right, so we have one. We have one, and so I have Hispanic agents on my team as well, on my brokerage rather. Like I have one that's literally all in Spanish. The whole thing is in Spanish, so it's hola, and it just keeps going, and they talk back. So there's a million different ways to get people engaged, and we found a huge miss in the market in the Hispanic community. So we started to do everything in English and Spanish.
One of the fastest growing, and actually, when you look at the home ownership rates, just from a couple of years ago, NAREP said that the home ownership rate for Hispanic and Latino homeowners in America was something like 48% versus the average, which was like 63%, which tells you right there there's a huge disparity. And yet the Hispanic and Latino segment of the population is one of the fastest growing in terms of income, if not the fastest growing, I believe. So huge opportunity for that in your business if that's something that you can go after. Got a question in the chat. Sorry, were you gonna say something?
No, I think with that, not only are they the fastest growing segment of the population, in my opinion, as far as purchasing, I think there's also a huge education piece that's starting here locally where we're trying to educate folks so that they understand the process. And I think the value and appreciation for that is unparalleled. I don't see that in any other. I see that very, very frequently in the Hispanic community. It's really rewarding to see.
Yeah. New broker that just joined us out in Coachella Valley. They do a first-time home buyer extravaganza, I guess you'd say, where they have a title rep, a LO, and various parts of the transaction there that they allow first-time homebuyers to kind of go. This was prior to COVID. Now they're doing virtually, but go table to table, as it were, to talk to the various reps, and then they come back together and explain the whole thing. You know, one of the biggest opportunities there is not just first-time homebuyers, but also first-time home sellers, which is an often ignored part of that population too. Hey, question for you in the chat, Kyle. Any recommendations on social posts that target listings, sellers?
So yeah, so we did a lot of listing stuff. And the simplest, easiest one to target that is what's my home worth. A quick what's my home worth landing page. It could be, you want it to be non-branded, ideally, if you can. So people don't feel like they're being sold on something. And typically, right, if someone wants to know what their house is worth, the reason is because they may want to sell it. So at the end of the day, that what's my home worth page, it has been very helpful to get people to say, hey, look, here I am. I have a house in this area and I might be looking to sell.
Okay, great. All right. I'm going to open it up for chat. So, Kyle, earlier today we opened up your coaching program. You want to talk a little bit about XROU?
Absolutely. All right. So I highlighted a little bit in the beginning. Here's the deal, right? So you have probably talked to, listened to, or received guidance from thousands of people, hundreds of people, or whatever, on how to participate and increase production in real estate. I say a lot of that is factually not true in this environment. I'm looking to put out this program, and we've put together a program that gives you a different twist, that allows a different mindset, that provides you with kind of everything that got me to where I am in a nutshell of an 8-week course. And I think the beauty of it is mindset, as well as understanding the psychology behind buyers and sellers, as well as understanding how to compete against other agents, as well as understanding the new world, new era, next level real estate agent and what that looks like at the end of the day, right? That's something that I think is important. And that's what we're trying to portray. We're giving people a little bit of insight, knowledge against conventional real estate wisdom. And I think that's how I was able to get to where I am. And I think that's how I'm continuing to perform at a high level. And that's what we want to do. It's a tweaking of the mindset but at the same time, it's value added nuggets each week that make you say, aha, I didn't think of it that way, and allow you to change your business.
That's great. And, you know, an unasked for testimonial, I actually sold my house while Kyle was putting this program together, and I was lucky enough to be a fly on the wall and get to hear some of his thoughts. My agent, Century 21 agent, and I used some of your methodology, and we sold my house for well more than it should have sold and well quicker than it should have sold, with very few hassles for me. So thank you. I appreciate that. And I think we can put it in the chat here. If you're curious about Kyle's program, there's the link. You can go check that out later. So as we kind of wrap up here, and I'm going to turn it over to the gang to allow them to ask you any questions, parting advice for anybody kind of getting into this and trying to build their presence online through either paid, organic, or both?
Advice would be, don't feel like you can't do this. Don't feel like it has to be, you have to have a certain level of sales. Don't feel like you have to have a certain level of inventory, or you have to be a certain stature or sell or have this many clients. This is the most inexpensive way to get in front of the most amount of people you possibly can. And by not doing this on a consistent daily basis, you're not only leaving money on the table, but you're leaving future revenue and future branding for someone else to gobble out market share. So at the end of the day, either get with it, right, and follow it, or really don't complain when other folks start to pass and really gobble up all the inventory and listings in your area. So I would say there's no right or wrong way to do this. The biggest thing is consistency and really finding that script that fits who you are and what you want to be.
Well said. All right. So what are your questions for Kyle? You have somebody who produces 500 plus units a year in front of you with an open chat box. So have at it. All right. And while we're waiting on that, Kyle, so you mentioned earlier that Instagram has started to be more of a lead platform for you. Why is that? I would have suspected Facebook.
Because a lot of people hop on Instagram fast. They hop on fast. They want to get on. They see a story and they move on. And I feel like a lot of the younger generations are on Instagram, clicking the stories and just going right through. Facebook, I think sometimes people can get bogged down with advertising, and I think that can deter people and steer them away. Whereas Instagram is strictly right now, for the most part, going to be your peers, your friends, your people you follow. And at the end of the day, I think that's the part that I think has allowed me to gain some traction there. It's not as salesy.
Okay. All right. So now we're getting to some questions coming in. So Josh asked, what's your next big goal? That's a great question.
Good question. So next big goal is, Brian, you and I have talked about this a lot, to be not only to be the real estate triple crown. And what I consider that is the #1 selling agent in the country, which thankfully and happily, and I can appreciate checking that box off. Number 2, having the largest brokerage within the organization. Working on that right now. We're at 130 agents and hopefully can get to 200 by the end of the year. And then number 3, being the #1 coach in the country, the top coach in the country for all of real estate, and providing people with different value. And I see myself as the real estate agent for the common person, just a regular guy, regular gal. Here's what it is. I didn't come from money. I didn't grow up from any of that. So just having someone that you can say, whether you did come from that or not, at least, hey, if he can do it, I can do it.
That's great. I love that goal. Let's do it. So Paul's trying to get you to take calls or emails out of class.
Line up. His phone rings every 2 seconds.
On Facebook there. So Chris asked, do you post only on business page on Facebook or personal page as well?
Post on whatever my social media girl does, and I think she posts on the personal page, and then it flows through to the business. Again, it's that suite of products that flows through to everything.
And you're not doing a whole lot of Kyle Unplugged kind of stuff on your posts, right? It's you post a little bit about your personal life, but not a whole
Not
lot.
much, not much. I do that on purpose. I feel like there's a time and place for that. And I feel like be careful what you do on there, because people get a perception of who you are, what you're all about, and it may not be always reality. And I think you need to be careful on that. Sometimes what happens is you post, and again, I'm specifically careful of any sort of social event. You'll never ever see me posting, with an alcoholic beverage in my hand. It's just not a good look, in my opinion.
Cool. Sarah asked about Nextdoor. She says, thoughts on Nextdoor? That seems to be growing in my market.
Don't know it. Heard of it. Need to do some research on it. Not really sure how viable it is. I would say if it works in your market and one of the top agents or top people and some of the top people are using it, look into it.
Yeah, so my wife especially uses Nextdoor. I think she basically found the cure for cancer on Nextdoor. If you're not familiar, it's a neighborhood app where you have to get invited based on where you live to your neighborhood. And then once you're on there, you're connected to the neighbors around you. It seems that, Sarah, in our area at least, it seems to have pretty good traction. So it could be something worth looking into. I can't give you pointers on how to use it from a business perspective, but I certainly can say that every time I've asked my wife for a recommendation on a professional or like how to do something in our area, the answer came from Nextdoor.
Mm-hmm.
So Connie asked about promoting client testimonials. Good idea or not value added?
Great. Well, good idea if they're good. If the client testimonials are saying how much of a jerk he or she is, then not a good idea. But honestly, client testimonials are really good. Because client testimonials, people don't want to hear you always talk about yourself. People love to hear other people talk about you, because then they can get a feel for who you are based upon someone else that is similar to them as well. So when you do a client testimonial, make sure that you spread out your audience, right? So when I do them, I make sure that there's a male, a female, all different races and ethnicities, and all that stuff is spread out so that we can make it really, people can understand that we fit and help everyone.
Great. Let me see here. So one of the questions in the Q&A was any app recommendations about posting content across platforms?
Yeah, I don't know what the name of it is that we use. See if I have it.
All right, and while you're doing that,
There
Janice,
is one. If you find it, I can't remember what it is, but there's something that allows you to post across all different pieces of the pie.
All right, great. And Janice says Nextdoor is great to find lost cats.
I saw that.
If I ever get a cat and lose it. Haley asks, what is the suite of products you use? This is kind of real estate voyeurism. So what CRM are you using? What other tech products are you using?
So we use for the CRM, we're actually moving to KV Core. Super excited about this move. I think this is going to check a lot of boxes. We've used Boomtown, we use Zillow, we use this program called Total Connect on the CRM side. I use a program called Sendinblue on my email stuff. As far as apps, Realtor.com, Zillow, Facebook, all that sort of stuff. But yeah, just the regulars. But this KV Core is supposed to be really, really, it's Core or Corp, whatever it is, but it's supposed to be really good. And we're really excited about that.
You know, if it helps you at all, I just got done talking with Chris Hendricks, who's a great broker of ours up in Michigan, and they use KV Core, and he absolutely loves it. So
yes,
cool. All right, I'm not seeing any other questions. So I'm going to give you guys 1 second more, and then I'm going to let Kyle get back to his busy life. And by the way, Kyle, I want to thank you for spending the time today. I also want to thank you for making this coaching program available for the Century 21 agents. That's awesome. It's a great program, and I hope a lot of people take you up on that and go through that program, because I've seen firsthand all the stuff that you have to teach, and it is a great system.
Hmm.
So April says, thank you for your time and information. All right, you guys. Well, if you do have other questions for him, you can always reach Kyle on Century 21 Workplace, or you can go sign up for his coaching program and get his time and attention that way as well. But until then, Kyle, we really appreciate it. Thanks so much. Congratulations on a great 2020. Here's to a great 2021 for you and the team.
Thank you all. You guys have a great day and a great night and a great evening. See ya.
All right, buddy.
Bye.
See you, man.
Bye.
All right. And for all of you tuning in, thank you so much. Mary Beth has put the link in the chat where this will be posted later on. So you'll have this in case you want to go back and search this for some of those nuggets. Until then, thank you all for tuning in, and we will see you for some of the next sessions in Celebrate 21. Bye-bye, everybody.